Hello, hola, and buenas, buenas. Welcome back to La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast made with love. On tonight's episode, we look at the LA Galaxy's mid-season form as we head into the World Cup break. We take all the data, info, vibes, feelings, performances, and everything else, everything in between we've seen so far this season into consideration to bring you a mid-season progress report for the LA Galaxy 2026. We'll be joined by Peyton Beadouin of Talking Galaxy, Dylan Altman of COC Network, Matthew Pinchback, Comets Supporter Group President, and David Rona of LA is Our House Podcast, who will all be here to help us answer the question, what kind of team are the Galaxy really? The record says average, but we ask our guests if the eye test agrees. Plus, we bring you reactions to the official U.S. men's national team roster and update you on the latest World Cup news, all that and more. Coming up on another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana. DJ Cito, you know what to do. Spin that track. Cheese up. Boop.
Yeah, let's get it started with a new year, new me. Cuna Galaxiana still reporting on the news feed, yeah. And you know who it be, the 6 stars from the jersey, putting work in the league. Word on the street, we rip teams immaculately. We see the players come and go, but I'm forever a G. And you can catch me yelling tactics on the field when I leave. Get it together like I'm Vanney when I'm giving a speech. Back to the pitch, score goals, dribbling tricks. I heard a transfer window rumor, let me see who it is. I got statistics on the player, puzzle pieces that fit. Con este show que es tan bilingüe que tu papi lo ve. Rápido pues, hablando de este club otra vez. En las buenas y en las malas, we got love for the crest, love for LA. Let's get it started, light up the stage. Every week on Monday night I'm tuning into the place. Yeah, you know what it is. Es La Cuna Galaxiana, 4th season, Rob Ananda. And my name, ya te lo sabes.
Welcome back to La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans out there and all you world soccer fans. As we get closer to the World Cup, the world is coming to Los Angeles, so I figure I might as well include everybody. Everyone has a home here, and to kind of prove that, we have a packed and beautiful house here. We have a bunch of friends of the show that are going to be joining us, but before we get to them, let me introduce myself. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Halone. You can always find my written work at the Sporting Tribune, and you can find me online at El Escudero de LA. And of course, since I am here, you know that my co-host is here as well, as usual. And so it is my pleasure to bring back to you El Yerno Guapo, El Gitano Perdido, y El Papa de Natita. Most importantly, first and foremost, let's put that one at the very top of the list. Anandita Kirana. Papa, we have a full house. It's going to pop off tonight, huh?
Yeah, full house for sure. And by the way, especially La Natita, because she's trying to like leave, so I might have to get up and like get her out of the studio, because you know why.
Your thing, like, well, daughters come first.
Man, you know how it is, Papa. You know how it is. Anyways, no, packed house for sure. Look, this is gonna be a fun one for me in particular, and I know for both of us, because this is where we shut up and we let the smarter people talk. Right? This is where we sort of become the arbitrators of this. And let the folk speak their speak, right? Because everyone's got a difference of opinions in certain things. That's what I love about these forums, these panels. You get a really wide range of opinions. So I'm super excited. And like I said, less of me talking is probably good for this pod. So there you go.
Well, yeah, we have a bunch of guests to get to, and honestly, that's probably the reason why everyone is here. So let's get the formalities out of the way. If you guys got something to ask our illustrious guests, you know, what they're thinking about the team, you know, whether Dylan likes long walks on the beaches, you know,
very important.
What's Peyton's sign? You know, does Dave like, you know, pizza or tacos? And Matt, what makes him so devilishly good looking?
Both.
You know, so I mean, there's a bunch to ask tonight. Super chats are available. If you are on X or on Instagram and you're watching this show right now, thank you so much for doing so, first and foremost. But then, jumping over to YouTube, it's a much better viewing experience, especially, you know, there's going to be a bunch of us tonight. So, yeah, it's probably in your best interest to jump over to YouTube. Thank you to every single one of you to subscribe to this show. I don't know what possessed you. Really, like, we just babble nonsense, but okay, I mean, we have good guests. I mean, I'll say that. But thank you so much.
I'm gonna give us credit. It's good nonsense, but it is nonsense nonetheless.
It's nonsense, you know, but it's fun. It's good fun nonsense. But yeah, like I said, thank you to every single one of you. I think when I checked earlier today, is 855 of you. Again, I don't know what possessed you, but thank you. Cheers. We appreciate it. We love you for it. Hit us up on all our socials. It's pretty easy at La Cuna Galaxiana. Except for Blue Sky, which has that blue sky dot blah 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 blah. But yeah, it's basically like if you search La Cuna Galaxiana, you'll find us. And then really quickly, I just want to put out there, guys, that Pepe Magana sat down with us recently, and I think Ananda dropped that interview today. Is that correct, Ananda?
Yesterday morning, sir, or yesterday at 5. Sorry.
Apologies, guys. So yesterday at 5, Pepe was class. I mean, a young man that wants to succeed here. He loves this team, and he told us, you know, what his big dream for this team is. But I'm not going to spoil it for you. Go ahead and go check out that interview. Like I said, very, very class lad. You know, a quick one too. So it's a quick 20 minutes in and out, and we get to talk to Pepe, and you know, you get to find out all about him. Ananda, I know we're going to get into a bunch of World Cup stuff here pretty soon, but I did want to call out, you know, the latest on the U.S. men's national team. The roster officially dropped, and so, you know, it's basically what we had learned in leaks in the kind of lead up to the official drop. Nothing was really different, but in I guess the aftermath, and we'll talk all about this more, you know, in our World Cup shows. There was kind of fallout because the players that didn't make the plane or the roster, rather, there's no plane. Well, I guess there is a plane because, you know, still have to travel. But yeah, I guess the controversy here was that Poch didn't do these guys the courtesy of giving them a call. Some folks have said, you know, like, you know, I wouldn't want to call. Some folks have Herculez Gomez and Charlie Davies are vehemently like against it. Poch himself calls the whole thing bullshit. I want to see if these listeners know who their host is. I'll let you guess which side I'm on here, but we'll cover this one more in full on our World Cup shows. You know, La Cuna Galaxiana, thanks to Joe 13 Cool, who dubbed this show La Cuna Mundialista. Yeah, that show will be coming to you on Monday. You know, Joe 13 Cool, let us know if you need a hoagie or a couple of beers for IP rights. But yeah, guys, this World Cup is coming, you know, sooner rather than later. And along those lines, all the teams have already released where they're going to be based. Yes, I said these teams are based. You know, I think that's something the kids say. But anyway, the U.S. is going to be here in California and Los Angeles area. My beloved Ecuador is going to be in Columbus. Ananda's Spain is going to be in Georgia, Atlanta, I believe. Is that correct, Ananda?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, man. So it's right around the corner, guys. So like I said, stay tuned for all the World Cup offerings here from La Cuna Galaxiana, aka La Cuna Mundialista. Guys, we're not going to hold you. You can go a million different places for recaps and all that kind of shit, man. But this is going to be a World Cup, you know, seen through Angelino eyes, man. Like, this is really, the USA is going to be here. You know, the first USA game is going to be here. I mean, I think Los Angeles is going to be the center of the soccer world during this tournament. Fight me. Maybe I just love my city that much. Who knows? But anyway, it's going to be a World Cup for Angelinos, and they're for sure going to enjoy. There's watch parties everywhere, and we're going to bring you the latest and greatest on what's going down in Los Angeles. Hopefully, if everything works out all right, we'll have a very nice guest for you guys, and he is a very very well known name. So we're just crossing our fingers on that one. But anyway, look forward to a daily Minuto story of the day. On Monday we'll have our normal live streams. Then every time Spain, the US, or Ecuador plays, we'll do an instant reaction, and there's going to be a lot more, so go ahead and stay tuned. And without further ado, I guess it's time for Ananda, the reason everybody is really here, right?
Yep. One last dance, I guess, for the Galaxy,
Sure.
at least for the next month and a half. So let's get it, Papa. Let's get it. Blessing
Let's
Pencil, by the
go.
way, USA winning the World Cup. I guess it's the hope that kills you, Blessing Pencil. So there you go.
It is. I mean, no vale nada soñar. It costs nothing to dream. I mean, I had a dream that the Beatles might stay together, or that Kobe and Shaq might stay together, and it didn't happen. But no puede nada soñar. It's good to have a dream. I myself have a dream that Ecuador could pull off a miracle and somehow win it all. I don't think it'll happen either, but
I dreamed for 22 years for something, Papa, and it actually happened. So there you go.
That's lovely, man.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Anyway, enough about Arsenal. This guy, he's on his high, man. Anyway, shout out as well to Judge Sophie, who was enjoying life out there in England and loving that title. I saw a beautiful video of her just zipping along and driving, and man, shout out to her. All you long-suffering Arsenal fans, like I said, keep our title warm. United's coming back for it next year. Boom. With that said, our guests, and speaking of United, this guy's a good proper lad who is a United fan. So let's bring back a very well-raised man who supports a good team, Dylan Altman of the COC Network. Dylan, what's up, man? Welcome back, Big D.
You guys have the best intro ever. Like the way that you introduce people and you do the whole nine. It's always fun. Ananda, we haven't spoken since Arsenal won the league, so congratulations.
But you know what? Fair play, guys. Like behind closed doors, he is one of the few rivals that did text me. So that's mad props, because game got to recognize game, and mad props to you, sir.
I gave Arsenal enough crap all season, so it's only fair that I dish out a couple compliments here or there, because it is deserved over the course of the full season. You guys did deserve it.
Well, I'm excited for you to dish out some hot takes tonight, Papa. So
always.
Welcome, and glad to have you, man.
Speaking of dishing stuff out, I'm not going to say what he dishes out, but let's go ahead and bring back one of our friends of the show, Peyton Beadouin of Talking Galaxy.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up, man? You have a couple of potential customers in chat already.
Oh yeah. No, those aren't potential. They've been there. They've been there.
Okay, right on. Repeat.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Right
no, they're like they're staple. They're staple in the lineup. But yeah. I mean, since we're on the topic of the Premier League, yeah, congratulations to Arsenal. But I'm a little more petty, so I'm not gonna give them all props. We'll see after the Champions League final on Saturday if they could get it done. And so I'm definitely going to be humbled a lot. I'm not going to be a happy camper right now.
Everything has its day and time, props to them. Like Dylan said, over the course they've done it, I'll say this. Like I said, cuidado con United. Cuidado, papa. Anyway, let's keep it moving here, guys. One of the folks that I enjoy hanging out with, because I get to take in what it's like to be a nice, respectable family man, and see what like a respectable culture gentleman is like. Please welcome back to the show, nuestro amigo David Ona.
There he is.
That was a surprise for me. I didn't think that was me that you were talking about just
now. You're like me?
You're like, were you talking about the other guy?
Yeah.
No, blood. Like honestly, like when I think good pop in my head, you're one of the people that I think of, man. Because siempre estás con tus hijos. You're always with your children.
Don't forget the fur baby. Don't forget the fur baby. That's the most important.
The fur baby as well, and with your lady wife. So shout out to the fam, man. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate you being here, It's been a while. Like, what did we do to you? Why so distant?
Oh, it's been an honor. I'm happy to be back. When you were talking about good pop, I thought you were referring to my love of Dua Lipa, but
Ooh.
Oh.
Well, I do call you good pop.
who was also was also an Arsenal fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I
She's
thought
part
I
of the
saw
Anne
her
Hathaway
like
contingent.
posing in a bunch of different jerseys.
She's just kind of like every team at this point.
Dang. Let's not go there.
All right, yeah, let's get off the petty. We'll get to more petty later. There's enough petty on this show. Don't worry.
Okay, let's go ahead and bring on our last guest. I mean, we call him Primo because honestly, like since the moment Anon and I met him, like there was this like really palpable vibe and just like one of the nicest people in Galaxylandia that I know.
Yes,
supporter club president for Comets, Matthew Pinchback. Welcome back.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Good to see you. Appreciate
up, Matt?
it. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
show off that sweater. Which one is that one?
You know how we do?
Ooh,
It's a nice one.
Yeah.
that is a nice one.
Looks nice and cozy.
Yeah,
is-
that's
it's
that live
very
breathe
cozy.
football, huh?
Yeah. It's for all occasions. As a Californian, you can't beat it, right? It's good in the summer, it's good in the winter, it's great. It's fantastic.
Well, there is that hashtag, rich Galaxy fans for a reason. Live breathe football. Yeah, man, you're gonna have to adopt me, Primo. But guys, let's get to the nitty. We're all here for a reason. We're all gonna be real petty in a little bit, and really judgmental. But who knows? Maybe we won't. But we're gonna start off how we normally start off. You guys are gonna be like, oh, the one word reaction. Psych. No, not doing that this time. No. But we are gonna do a version of that. We're gonna do an LA Galaxy grade for the first half of the season, and you're gonna tell us why. And since I brought you on last and I had you waiting, Primo Matt, go ahead and start us off. What grade are you giving the Galaxy and why?
Oh man, put me on the spot. So since I didn't get to say so, I will say real quick, I do have to join the chorus and say congrats to Ananda for the Gunners finally getting there. I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm going to say, but I can never truly hate Arsenal solely because of Thierry Henry. So I'll give you credit for that. But it's all Rob, in your case, I'll say it's almost been long enough. It's almost been long enough for United that we're coming around. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like we're almost starting to feel, like the Galaxy were there too. It's like you hated them and you almost start to feel bad for them. We're getting there with United, so you might get some congrats.
And I feel like the league is better when United is good, personally. But that's just me as a United fan. But anyway, Premiership, Schmemmership. Everyone knows the best soccer on earth is played here at the digs, right?
Absolutely. So yeah, if I'm giving a grade, I feel like on paper, if you look at where they are, literally if you look at the win-loss record, where we are in the standings, it's like solidly average. It's like as average as you could be. So that's a C, right? But at the same time, like my gut wants to give them a B in a way, because I feel like they're trending in the right direction. I want to give them a little credit for that. They have I feel like the team is going in the right way. So
wait a second. I didn't hear it. What was it?
I say a C plus, maybe a low B.
Okay. Maybe a low B. I'm gonna have you settle on one. I'm gonna have you pick one.
Oh man. Then I'll say a B minus. Then I'll be the optimistic one. I'm gonna set the tone and see what's
right on.
I like it.
Anybody else? Raise your hand if you also have them at a B. No takers. Okay. Anybody else?
So Matthew sets the bar.
So Matthew sets the bar at B. All right. So we'll go to Dave. Our Primo gave the Galaxy a B minus. Man, I want to be in your class. That'd be amazing. Dave, what about you? What are you doing and why?
So I'm gonna take his energy and I'm gonna flip it a little bit. I know that the Galaxy should be at a C. Like they should be right at C. The record tells us so, right? They're 5-5-5. But I'm talking about like the 6-star LA Galaxy. Like the expectation level should be such that a C isn't good enough, man. I mean, I know that C's get degrees, but look, that's not good enough for the LA Galaxy. We need more than that. We need them to be
hold that thought,
right?
Because we will get to that. We will get to expectations and standards. So hold that thought for the moment.
But for now, I'm gonna put them at a C- because they're falling below where I would like to see them. So I'm gonna flip it a little bit and go C-.
We have a B- and a C-. Does anybody have them at a D? Pate, Dylan? No? Do you also have them at a C? Yeah, both of you guys.
Dylan shaking his head. So yeah,
I'm at C-.
Dylan, why?
C-. I will save all my thoughts for later because I think it has to do with those expectations. But meh.
C-.
I feel meh, which is what I would feel if I got a C- in school. I'd be like,
nah. You're like,
it's about what I deserve.
You're like, damn it! Like I should have put in maybe like 30 more minutes, and I could have gotten those extra points.
Yes.
Big Pate the plug. What you got on this grade? Why a C?
Oh, you're on mute, Pate.
I have a C+. I have a C+.
Ooh, okay.
I think that I'm with Matthew. I think that the trajectory was heading upwards. And I can't constitute giving them like below a passing like a D. I feel like, look, I know it's a game of ifs, but if you flip those two Kansas City results, which we should have won, which is why we're not a great team, which is why we're not in B or A range. If we flip the results that we should have in Kansas City, this team's sitting in like third place, and we would probably be talking about an A- if that's the case. A-, almost heading into A territory. But it just speaks to the Galaxy not being consistent enough, which is why it is at a C+. Is the Galaxy haven't been. It feels like every time we take a step forward, we take two back.
Like that Paula Abdul song.
Yeah, I do like. I think Marco Royce has been playing at a DP level. I know I'm not going to go into it too much right now, but individually, I think Royce is having a great year. Peck has been coming around as of lately. C+, and I feel like by the end of the season it'll probably be in a B range. I didn't think this team was going to be awful. I didn't think this team was going to be awful heading into the year. I don't think we expected them to be great, even though we are the LA Galaxy, just looking at that roster. But I think maybe it's going to be a busy summer for Will Kuntz.
Ooh, let's hope so. Well, you guys have talked about it. I mean, a bunch of you guys have mentioned it. 5-5. The Galaxy are in ninth place, the last playoff spot. They beat good teams. They lost to bad ones. They came from behind on a couple of occasions to get points. They dropped points from winning positions. Like Peyton said, if they'd beaten both games, if they've won both games against Port of Kansas City and won just one of their matches that they were leading and ended up tying, which is Vancouver, Houston, and Portland, they'd be in third comfortably. Like not even, like we're battling for that. It'd be comfortable. So question is this for the panel. Is this team better or worse than their record suggests? Or does the record reflect exactly who they are, which is just mid, just this absolutely just an average team. Pay, you were on to something, I think. So go ahead and hit us up. Let's start with you.
I actually made sure to unmute that time. Yeah, I think this team is marginally better than where they are right now. By the end of the season, I think we'll be in like the 7th range probably. I don't think we'll be a play-in team. I think this team is better than that. I think the West isn't as great as some people make it out to be. We're getting road results right now, which is huge. And I just think it's a matter of consistency. And if Will Kuntz has the pieces that he wants to bring in the summer, I think that this team will it'll evolve. I think this team will evolve a bit going into the second stretch of the season. But right now, based on the play, it's fair. Yeah, based on how we've been playing. Yeah, if you lose to one of the worst, Sporting Kansas City teams they've ever fielded, If you lost to them twice, then yeah, you don't deserve to be higher than 9th. But if we're talking trajectory and where this team will end up, I think they will build out of it. I think when they are clicking, it shows, and they play at the level of any of the top teams in the Western Conference. Honestly, when they are at their best, it's just it's a matter of consistency, and we're not it right now, which is why we do deserve 9th place. But I'm interested to see how that evolves through this season. We all wanted to see more consistency for like how long now? How many years? So
too long. Does anybody feel like, raise your hand if anybody feels like the team is just been hard done by those injuries and the travel, and they're actually better than the record suggests, and they're just kind of against circumstances. Any takers?
Oh, Dave's shaking his head.
Dave, what's on your mind on this one?
Well, I won't fall into that. I won't fall into the trap. I think, I think as Peyton said, like, if you have a team like Kansas City, you can't beat Kansas City. Easily the worst team in the league right now, like wooden spoon holders. You don't deserve to be further up than where you are, right? The ifs is an interesting game to play if Ricky was healthy, if they won those games, if they, if my grandmother had wheels, right? You fill in the blank. So it's not a great.
Let's leave Grandma out of this. Right?
It's not a great game to play the ifs, and I get that, like, soccer, football, it's a game of that, it's a game of ifs, but you also have to beat the teams that are below you in the standings, and if you can't beat them, you don't deserve to be, called a good team, or even above average team, which is why I think all of us put them at the very, very average, like hard average range, right? It's funny that the metric is always Kansas City, though. For a while, it's like, can they get motivated for a game in a giant Arrowhead Stadium that's empty? Right. Back in the London days, and can they beat
the ghost of Peter Vermees is still haunting us?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think that they're hard done at all, because a lot of teams go through it. Every team goes through injuries. Every team gets hard done by the refs or whatever. Nah.
Well, Rob, let me build off of your question that you asked earlier, and I'm just going to bring a contrarian viewpoint to this, because I can go either way on this, which is, number one, I just don't think this roster was built to compete on all fronts. What I mean that is, like, compete in the league, compete in cups, especially continental competition, like 2024 roster, and building on that. Now, that team would have been really interesting to watch in a CCC tournament against teams like Toluca, but this team, nah. Like, too many new players. Like, you're getting good pieces in Justin Hack and Jakob Glesnes, but not ready to compete in all fronts. Like Greg talked about it post match, right? One of the pressers, like 30,000 miles traveled. There's not. You're building off of I guess a salvage season in 2025, but overall a horrible season. And of course, you're trying to bring in all these new pieces, and then of course you get early injuries like Jakob Glesnes. That one seemed to destabilize. You also had a very inconsistent situation at goalkeeper that took a couple of months to resolve. So I think, but then after the defeat of Toluca, which, by the way, like if I give my grade and I assess our CCC, they pretty much performed exactly what I thought they would. Get past the first 2 rounds, no problem, and get smashed by Toluca, which that wasn't a surprise to me. But I just think, like, maybe this one game a week maybe now we can really we can really sort of decide the real fate of this Galaxy team with this one game a week. But competing in all fronts, I don't think this roster is able to do that, in my opinion.
Well, Peyton, at the very least, thinks he sounds pretty optimistic. Primo Matthew was also optimistic at the top. So, I'm gonna go to our optimistic gentleman here, Primo Matthew. And what do you think then? I mean, everybody says, that they're exactly who they've shown to be, but they're right in the middle. So are they closer to the top 4, or are they closer to missing the playoffs? What do you think, Primo?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think and, I gave him a B because I'm kind of bullish on him, and I'll kind of explain why. But I think Ananda's right. Frankly, I think we struggled and we forget about the early part of the season in 2024. We benefited from not having a lot of schedule congestion, and that guys got in and kind of got healthy, and you saw them start to click. And so things are emerging now that we didn't really know earlier. And I know when you talk about coaching and stuff like that, you expect the coach to kind of be a genius, to know this stuff, to have it figured out and that. But again, when you're trying to get guys healthy, but you're also rotating and you're having a different squad or you're trying to get guys acclimated, not so much healthy, but but then you're also rotating squads every week. And again, I'm not saying Vanney did the best he could on that, but yeah, I think we learned things now that the team is benefiting from that we couldn't really have known then. Like you've had the emergence of Sanabria, right, who's been really important. Like we were kind of hoping to get this out of him last year, right? But now he's kind of rounding into form, and he's become a very important player. You have Marcinkowski emerging at goal. You have Justin Hack, who none of us had like high expectations for, but he's become like pretty key. So we're figuring things out. Vanney's figuring things out, and that's why I'm a little more optimistic. Because I don't think I think you had those growing pains, and I think the congestion, to Ananda's point, like exacerbated a lot of that because there wasn't always, a fixed lineup. So you had Vanney tinkering, then you also had like rotation because of
force changes. Yeah.
So I think the way things are going now, I feel like I don't feel like what we're seeing is kind of like I could be wrong, but it seems like they figured some things out and they're moving in a good direction.
Speaking of moving in a good direction, only one loss in the last 6 games, 3-3-2 since that Champions Cup exit. They haven't lost at the digs in MLS play since they were 4th, which was that 2-1 loss to Minnesota. Dylan, I've wrote about it in my articles a couple of times that the G's look like they're trending up. It's not all there, but there are signs of positivity. Should there be cause for optimism in the second half of the season, just like Peyton is feeling and kind of like our Primo Matthew is feeling?
Sure. No, I think that there's a ton of room for optimism. I'm not out on this team. I think we could be in a much better spot. I have so many issues with a lot of the stuff, but it mostly stems from our manager. And the reason that I'm almost upset that we are in this middle point is it's almost bought Greg Vanney another life. And I don't know if he deserves it. And look, and at this point, like you've seen all the other clubs around the league sack their manager. There's a reason they did it before the break. Like as much as I have been expecting this to come, it's not coming. And it's just something I have to come to terms with. Like there's a reason he hasn't been sacked yet. He's not getting sacked. And that's my biggest cause for concern of being positive is, look, we've played 21 games this season. It's not like this is some brand new thing. We had the longest offseason that we've had in years because of how bad we were the season prior. This squad is relatively similar. We brought in some new additions, but in my opinion, they were more plug and play than they were brand new toys to the arsenal, right? Like we weren't changing our system or our formation or anything. And I think me and Ananda during the offseason talked about how we thought this team was transitional. And it took us 15 games to figure that out. That's concerning. And though, like literally to end this portion of the season,
we knew.
Back to possession.
Greg didn't know.
No, this is my issue is every time I want to be like, yes, we finally have figured out this potion. We've got all the things are mixing in the right direction. There's an SKC where it's okay. Now we're going to hold it again. Or we play Houston and we hold the ball again. And then the entire remaining 60 minutes of the match, everyone knows what we're going to do. And we end in a draw. It's almost the perfect summary of this season. So yes, there is room for optimism. The summer could be very beneficial to us. But there's got to be shakeup, and I just don't trust us to make that shakeup right now.
Peyton Dylan thinks that there should be some shakeup. That's kind of his optimism contingent on shakeup. What are you looking at that has got you optimistic? Dave, you're next. I know you've kind of been like more on the opposite side of Matthew on the optimism scale, but I'm gonna force you to find a silver lining. So go ahead and think of one. You're next. Hey, what's up?
I think that the health of Jakub Golesnes is the thing that makes me very positive. Is the fact that I I think the only game that he's lost as a starter was that Colorado game that was absolutely just sold by the red card.
Yeah.
And for me, that just shouts that, I mean, obviously there's going to be a point where we lose a game with Golesnes on the pitch, but overall, I think that the consistency of this team stems from the back line. I think his chemistry with Justin Hack has been great. I mean, we were talking about, where all these pieces going to fit in with the amount of center backs that we had. I think Amiro Garces is just going to be on the bench for the foreseeable future. I think he's going to have to earn his way back into that squad because the spine of that defense, JT is playing out of his mind. There was a goalkeeper competition, and now we're not even talking about it anymore. I think the two center backs, Hack and Golesnes, have been incredible as of recent. You could still debate Cuevas Simone at right back. I think either way, you're going to be okay. And then Nelson at left back is just once again steady Eddie. I think that back line has been very good as we expected. That is what's going to carry this Galaxy team through. But Marco Royce is playing at a DP level. I talked about it on Talking Galaxy last episode. A large part of why this Galaxy team is afloat right now without Joao Klaus, who is injured, and probably will be for a while after the World Cup break too, is because of the play of Marco Royce. He's playing out of his mind. Can you keep him healthy a full season? I pray. But if he could stay healthy a full season, which, it's Marco Royce, you're going to have to manage his minutes a bit. But if we're smart with it and we get a bit of luck in our favor, I think this team will comfortably, by the end of the season, it's not going to be one of those things where we're going to be scrapping on decision day. At least that's my prediction, is that I don't think we're going to be scrapping on decision day for a play-in spot. I think this team is going to be comfortably secure in the playoffs. Maybe they will be on the brink of play-in or automatic playoff spot, but I think regardless, this team is going to be in a position. But I don't think we're as good as a top 4 team. I don't think we will be as good as the top 4 team. That's pushing it for me. But anywhere in that 5 to 8 range, I could see the Galaxy ending up as long as they stay healthy. And I think that defense is the biggest reason why.
Dave, maybe you're not optimistic, but I am forcing you to find a silver lining. What have you seen in the first half that is a silver lining for you?
I think Peyton mentioned it. Marsikowski has been really great. We have not had a consistent goalkeeper. I still wouldn't even call Marsikowski a consistent goalkeeper. He's had a good run of form with the Galaxy right now. But I need to see that throughout like the rest of this season. I also think that getting Joao Klaus back toward the back end of the season is the other silver lining, because this team is built around having a player like that up front. Maybe now that the minute shackles are off on Nascimento, he can fill in that role a little bit, because I know there was a clause in his contract that said if he plays a certain amount of minutes, we have to automatically buy him. I think we're past that now, so we can use him at will. But yeah, maybe this World Cup break came at a good moment where the Galaxy were kind of on the up, and now they have a chance to kind of get healthy, reload a little bit, and then come back from the break all cylinders fired. They've got El Tráfico a couple days before the World Cup final, so lots of eyes, big stage, big moment for them to kick off the second half of their season. That is as close to a silver lining as I can get.
Well, it's going to be interesting, because when they do come back from league play, that is the first game, is El Tráfico, and the eyes of the world, you're very right, are going to be on such an occasion, and they're going to see a team that's in ninth, right? They're going to see a team that 2 years removed from a title and 1 removed from missing the playoffs. We don't actually know who the Galaxy is, or if they're actually a good team. Well, I think we've kind of settled that debate. I think we know they're big on average, but we do know that at the very least they're in that 9th last playoff spot. Dave was talking about it earlier, right? Standards and expectations for this team. By a show of hands, is anybody okay here with that 9th place spot or just making the playoffs? Like, hey, we're in. I mean, then we can go ahead and do some damage in there. Anybody all right with that? Doesn't look like it. Dave, preach on about that standard really quick. I mean, Galaxy fans here are right to expect them to be challenging for titles, right? I mean, that's a standard that they should be expecting. Or, has something shifted, and because of, Ricky's injury and everything else and new players being brought in, should they be expecting and accepting more gradual progress?
Oh man, this is such a loaded question. It's like, for me, it's always been, even in the worst,
how I do, baby.
Worst of the worst years, is the Galaxy, the expectation of the LA Galaxy is we compete on all fronts. We compete for championships. We are the standard bearers of the league. And we lost that for a while. We thought we were getting it back when Greg Vanney came in, and he started to build that, and then he got us to that pinnacle, and then he's back to sort of all this inconsistency. And the thing is that we saw that with Toronto. He did the same exact thing. He came in, he rescued a project, he hit the pinnacle, and then he fell flat for the next 2 years until he moved on. So when you talk about the expectations of the Galaxy as an organization, as a team, as a level of player that you have on the field, you bring the name, I feel like, carries a lot of weight. So just getting to a playoff spot, just securing a playoff spot comfortably, that's not good enough. You have to be competing for a trophy every single season. That is the expectation, right? And I don't know if just because I'm like a old school Galaxy fan, or if, some of the newer Galaxy fans that came in, a little bit later feel the same way. But from my perspective, like, the Galaxy should be the standard bearer of the league. They should not be falling behind any of the teams, especially teams in their vicinity. They should be competing every single year for a trophy, even if they don't make it. They have to at least be in the hunt.
We have Steven Mon, chat. What's up, Papa? Glad to see you here and blessing us with your presence here in chat. Chat, thank you guys for being here. We have an incredible panel. You guys, a couple of you guys out there have said they're dropping bars. I agree. We are going to be talking here about identity in a second. But Primo Matthew, I saw you shaking your head at a couple of things that Dave was saying. What you got for us?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's definitely the expectation we have, is that the Galaxy, we're the standard bearers of the league. We're the marquee team in MLS. We're the team that everyone's heard of. So we're the team with the most championships. So having that, being in the mix, I always say, like, as a fan, that's what you want, right? And I'm not going to put salt in the wound, Rob, but as being a United fan, you know how it is to not be in the mix for, we were there as Galaxy fans. I'm saying, that's almost the most hurtful thing, to not be in Champions League, to not be in the playoffs. Like, that's
being an afterthought.
It's hard to countenance that as a fan. I'll say this though. I'll give you like a controversial take on that, on this. Ooh. At the same time, which is just,
this is going to be controversial. Anybody on the panel, feel free to push back.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm curious to see everyone's thoughts on this. I think it's really hard to do that year over year in MLS. I think it's very challenging. Like in Europe, Madrid or United, the guys that are perennially at the top. That used to be United, sorry, Rob. But the guys that were perennially at the top.
That's three, Primo. That's three.
I'm sorry. It's nothing personal. But it's I think it's hard to achieve that. And probably like the Sounders are the only team that really,
I was going to say,
they don't fall off a cliff kind of thing, right? Every other team, I think it's just very hard to maintain that today. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. But
what about our neighbors? What about the ones that play down the street from us?
They had 1 or 2 years where they weren't great either. I mean, so.
But since how many years consecutively now have they been in the conversation for winning?
A couple, trophy? 3 or 4.
Agree. Yeah.
My biggest issue with the whole, like, where do we find like the standard is honestly, it just comes down to the payroll. for me. Like if we rip away this sport and we just go with, let's just make it baseball or basketball or football, and we went the fourth highest payroll in the league, or the fifth highest payroll in the league is currently sitting in ninth in the West, or 15th in the entire league. You'd call that a failure, right? And so it's that this team constantly spends, but isn't consistent enough for the amount of expenditure that comes with that. And I know there's been injuries, but every team's got injuries. And there's teams on here that pay way less than us, that have way less spend, and then have way more injuries, but still compete at a higher level, like week over week or year over year. And I think that's where I get the most frustrated with this Galaxy project is I've been told that scouting has gotten better over the last 5 years and development of players has gotten better over the last 5 years. But I feel like we very rarely ever win the margins on those signings, right? Like we produce right backs, that's for sure. But like, have we produced like a right winger? No, our right backs are playing right winger, or there just feels like there's a lack of consistency, not just from a sporting standpoint, but from everything. Like everybody kind of feels like they're just all over the place, whether it's marketing or ticket sales or the actual team itself, or even the front office. We just haven't had any form of consistent play or anything over the last 15 years.
This is something that we've talked about a lot too, where it's like, at what point do you kind of have to turn the eye toward Will Kuntz? You go like, is he actually picking the right players to give Vanney the most success possible? I know that we love Will Kuntz, but maybe he's missed on a couple, or maybe so it's like you got to think about like the inconsistency of this team over the course of the Vanney years also coincides with the Will Kuntz years.
Yeah, it's hard to make that argument. Disagree with that. I've said it a bunch of times. I mean, one of the first people that was like, you know what? I don't understand why everybody is getting after Vanney so much. It's also Will Kuntz's fault. Was wifey. So she's been on that one for like a year and a half.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say we probably should cut over to the next topic, Rob. But I'm gonna just close it out on this, which is, I think if you look at what are a couple of variables of success for MLS, especially in this, whether you want to call it 3.0 or this new version of MLS, for me, it's player quality and continuity. And I think the thing that is hard for me to accept every time I take a retrospect about this is after winning 2024, I thought, the new front office, Will Kuntz, all the new players that we brought in, I thought that was we had Christian Miles on, Papa. You remember the word that he used?
Mm-hmm.
It was now I'm like, I can't remember the word that he used, but it was basically an inflection point for this team.
Foundational,
right? It was a paradigm shift. That's what he called it. Paradigm shift for this team, especially Will Kuntz represented that. And the way that we had to blow up this roster and basically take away all of that continuity, that hurts. Like, that hurts a lot. Now, whether it was because of the rules and all that, like, it is what it is, right? We can't cry over spilt milk. But again, so it's almost like we're kind of in a rebuild again. And now we're in like the second year of it. And unfortunately, it just hasn't happened as fast as Galaxy fans would have liked it. But again, like I said, player quality and continuity. Seattle's had a lot of continuity over the years. I mean, even all the ways, the days of Rui Diaz and those guys. And now you've got the newer crop, right? And and that continuity is always there. And of course, you had Brian Schmetzer, one of the best coaches in the league. So it's not an excuse, but I think it's a reality that we have to face as an organization, as a team, as a fan base, and hopefully it trends up from here.
Now that you said it, let's go ahead and talk about this team's identity. One of the things that's kind of widely known about Greg Vanney's system, or Vanney ball, is that it's a possession-based system. The G's are known as a possession-based team, even though the data and several people here have already mentioned that they're more successful in transition when they're set up to absorb and be more defensive and then can get at teams on the counterattack. Greg mentioned the other day that everything for this team starts from them being a good defensive team. However, we seem to be inconsistent there as well. So, guys, what's this team's identity? If you had to describe this team's identity in one sentence, what would it be? Who's the brave one who wants to start? Raise your hand. All right, I'll pick class. Oh, Primo Matthew. I like the reaction. That's you.
Oh man, that's good. Oh geez, confused probably is what I would say. Because yeah,
Is
I
it
think
confused.
Schizo?
yeah, and I think Vanney is striving for this system where, like, okay, you know how we're gonna play. We're still gonna come into your house and dominate you and kill. And they did that in 24, in fairness. But yeah, I think like he figured some things out, like going real defensive, which a lot of us have been saying, like, you don't have your a great attack right now. You've got to go defensive. You don't have a strong midfield that can hold the ball forever. You don't have Ricky, who's like unpressable. Just kind of go defensive, hit in transition. And I think he found out some things doing that, right? And then it's like he's that dude in the Lego movie that just always wants to build a spaceship. Like no matter what the situation, he's like, yeah, a spaceship. That's Vanney. It's like as soon as they start to win, he's like, all right, let's do possession, guys. Let's get it. And they're like, no, come on. And it seems like every time he's going to revert back to that, to his own kind of detriment, right? So yeah,
like,
I think
come on, baby, you got that good possession?
Yeah, right. So I think it's a little confused. Like I feel like there's a way this team needs to play and they could be successful doing that. But yeah, just every minute, Greg is just like a junkie, just trying to get back to possession. Like
I think I like that more as a headline. Every minute, Greg is like a junkie trying to get back to possession.
Yeah, put that on the thumbnail.
That's the headline.
That's my next reaction headline.
Me calling Vanney a drug addict. Put that that'll go well for my PR.
Oh, that's wonderful. Peyton, you have some experience in the entrepreneurial pharmaceutical industry. Go ahead and let us know what your headline would be for this team's identity.
This is a counter-attacking team trapped in a possession team's body. This is like very clearly this team just plays best when they are able to hit them in transition with Gabriel Peck, Joseph Paintsil with his pace in behind, Marco Royce with his creativity. Every time we turn the ball over in a position where we recover and we're just directly staring them downfield like a 3-on-3 type of situation, it almost always leads in a big chance being created for the Galaxy. And then, games, which is why, okay, now I swear I've watched more Galaxy games than the Sporting Kansas City games, but I go back to that game, those two matches.
Hurt everybody on this panel so much.
I know. But I feel like against a team like that, they're going to allow you to have more possession. They're going to allow you to have the ball. They just hit us on counterattacks, which is also, what is our biggest strength is also our biggest weakness. We can't defend the counter sometimes. We get caught in transition moments, which has really been the story of the Galaxy under Greg Vanney. But when we have more possession of the ball, it's like, okay, cool. We're stat stuffing. It looks cool, it looks cool, but what are we actually doing with the ball? And it's boring. It's boring. I'm going to be honest. I find myself doom scrolling on TikTok or Instagram reels whenever I watch this team play an away game, because I can't be bothered to just watch us have the ball and do nothing with it for 90 minutes, or even a home game can get boring. And I'm doing photography sometimes, but you're just watching them, control possession. And we play the most entertaining soccer when the Galaxy could just sit back and absorb, because we have the back line that's able to do that. We talk about the importance of Hack and Gillespie. Those two are absolute rocks at the back. They're not going to allow a lot of things in behind, unless we get caught in transitional moments where one of the fullbacks pushes up too far, usually Cuevas, pushes up too far, doesn't track back. We get slammed in transition. We just get caught out. This team does a lot better, in my opinion, when we're able to just sit back. We could absorb pressure. They could bring pressure. LAFC, our next match, El Tráfico, they could bring pressure. They could have more of the ball, sure. But I think that our counter-attacking aspect of the game is something that we could actually hone in more on against them. And I don't know. Bold prediction. This is way too far out, but I think we win that game. And I think there you go. Hot take for the podcast. I do think we win that El Tráfico. And I think it stems largely from the fact that we're just going to kill them on the counter. I don't honestly, I know they have all these clean sheets, but personnel wise, like Ryan Porteous, I do not. Who is that bum? Like, I'm not concerned about some of these bums on LAFC's back line, like Eddie Segura, just
that
bang
is hard to
average,
argue with, though.
bang average center back. Yeah, like Hugo Lloris in net. I mean, he's had a good season, but he's often like a statue at times. He won't even move for the ball. Like, he's very inconsistent, in my opinion, which is probably a hot take as well. But I
Pay with all the hot takes right now.
Yeah, I think but Greg Vanney is stubborn sometimes, which is what I wanted to circle back to, is that, Greg Vanney is stubborn in his ways. Where
we'll get there. We'll get there because I know.
Okay,
he's next, and I know Dylan is going to be like, ooh.
Yeah, I won't go much further, but Greg Vanney is very stubborn. I don't think he wants to break away from his possession. He's going to drive it until we're all dead. Greg Vanney will be the coach in 2080, and we'll still be, carrying 70% of the possession, and losing to a team that doesn't have a shot on target.
And lose 2-0.
It's Galaxy heritage.
Yeah, it's probably 2090. However, let's go with Dave. What's the identity here for this Galaxy team? Give us the sentence.
It was all taken. It was already taken. It's stubborn. Hey. This Galaxy is stubborn. Greg Vanney is stubborn. Remember when Guillermo Barros-Schelotto's would we need to cross more, when they had 20,000 crosses. Every game he's like, oh, we need more crosses. That's kind of been the identity of this club for a long time, right? Is the Galaxy is stubborn, and they've been stubborn in different ways. They were stubborn in the messaging of we're the Galaxy. We should, we own the city. We're, no big deal. We don't have to do anything about that. We're stubborn in the the way that we do things, the way that we build rosters should work in MLS. And it's they've just constantly been proven to be slow to grow with what the rest of the league does. The rest of the league is more nimble and they react to changes. They face adversity differently. But the Galaxy has been consistently stubborn. A lot like Spaceship Guy. It worked once. And it was great that it worked out that one time. But after that, nobody wanted to build a spaceship after that.
Vanney is Spaceship Guy.
I wanted to kind of chime in on what Dave said. I totally agree. And it's kind of the point I was making earlier, which is not necessarily that, not that it's too hard in MLS or that it's impossible to achieve year over year in MLS. But I think when we think of the halcyon days of the Galaxy, right? The Bruce era, 08 through 08, 09 through 2014, 2015, right? Mm-hmm. Always in the playoffs, always challenging for cups. A lot of that was, I think, in spite of the front office, right? You had in Donovan and Keane, you had two of the league legends, right? We had seasons where, in 2014, it was just Donovan getting mad that he didn't go to the World Cup. In 2012, remember, we were terrible, and those guys just kind of turned it on in the playoffs. And you don't see that much anymore. You don't see where just one or two guys can just will themselves to victory, even with Messi in the league, right? And so that's kind of the point I was making, is that we've never had a strong, we've always achieved in spite of the front office, I feel like. And you're seeing these newer teams, especially some of the newer teams that come into the league, like LAFC we're talking about. They're kind of hitting the ground running because they understand they kind of have built the things, just like we're talking about. We're still tacking on a scouting department and all that stuff. Other teams have come into the league kind of ready to play. Yeah, so I feel like we're still in that catch-up mode a little bit. Again, not taking blame off of Greg or anything, but I do think that's a part of it. I think there are some FOs that are a lot more modern and a lot more agile, I think was the word someone used, a lot more nimble in how they react to things.
Yeah, definitely a lot more modern for sure. Big D, bring us home on the sentence on identity, and then we're going to go right into your favorite subject, which is Tio Gregorio Vanney. So go ahead and hit us up with your sentence on identity.
Yeah, I'll keep it short because I think everybody else kind of hit it on the head there, but it's just unwilling to evolve. And we've seen over the course of this season and seasons prior that Vanney wants to play a certain style, and regardless of what is put in front of him, he will try to fit those square pegs into round holes. So unwilling to evolve.
Not an unfair criticism. Like I said, we are gonna talk about Greg Vanney now. I mean, he let's keep it 100. I mean, we've mentioned the SKC losses, just downright embarrassing. But he's also the guy that took this Galaxy team to Seattle and got the first win there in 10 years, right? He's also the guy that was 5 minutes away from beating Vancouver, one of the better teams in the league. You know, so there's been ups, there's been downs. It's a roller coaster, right? But in evaluating a coach, there's a lot of different things that you can look at. A lot of the time here on this show, we talk about a few things. You know, is he maximizing the roster? Is he making players better? Has he improved the team tactically? So all of that boils down to basically that one essential question: has Greg Vanney done enough to still be the head coach of the LA Galaxy? If I have any yeses on the panel, raise your hand and defend your case. Pate.
Oh,
Matt. All right. Pate, you were first. Go ahead. Your contention is that Greg Vanney's done enough to still be the manager of the Galaxy. All right.
Yeah. And I've been wish-washy on this because I sat on Talking Galaxy about a month ago and I was like, yeah, I think his time's just up. Like, I think it's just ran its course. It's not a knock on him as a coach, which is why, you know, anybody on the opposite side that says he should be sacked, like, I don't disagree with the fact that, yeah, we are the LA Galaxy. We should be performing to a higher standard at this point. I'm still going to back him, but I'm like more on the borderline of like, yeah, I would stick with him after the break, but I don't think that guarantees his job security through the whole season. If this team goes on a losing streak after the World Cup break, then yeah, bin him. But if what I'm looking at right now, I find it hard to, you know, constitute sacking him. Granted that, you know, we've talked about it. We feel like the Galaxy are on the upward trend right now. And, you know, whether that ends up just being a play-in team / barely making playoffs, we'll have to see as the season progresses. But if he's finally starting to figure it out, I'm willing to give him the transfer window. Bring in a guy like Dahoud into the midfield. I know he hasn't been too happy with the play of Edwin Cerrillo. So if you want to go with Dahoud, Sanabria, and, you know, Marco Royce as your midfield after the break, you know, you could add Klaus, JP, and Peck up top. I don't hate the thought of that. And I think we'll have to see how it fits in the system. But the Seattle result was big for me. I know they kind of rotated in that match. You referenced it earlier. The Galaxy are starting to pin some results together. Houston's a very tough team, and I thought that we dominated them. It was 1-1, but Galaxy did deserve more from that game. Just we couldn't put the final touch on it. I think that Greg Vanney has proved that he at least deserves still after the break, because it's hard to sack him when the team seems like it's starting to do well now, but I'm not infinite job security for him. Yeah, he's definitely in the hot seat.
But anyway, Matthew, back up your brother in arms. You also are saying that Greg has done enough to be the head coach. And mind you, Cunero's out there. I'm not advocating for anybody's job at the moment. This is just conversation, you know. So Greg, don't hate us. But Matthew, what you got?
Yeah, I agree with Peyton. I think, and it's documented. If you asked me last year, and I think I was on the show last year, I was definitely in the chat last year saying Vanney out. And I think if he had, honestly, I think if you had fired Greg in like September of last year, no one would have balked at that, right? Or before he got the extension and that, when we were really, you know, because we started to turn things around. I can't remember exactly when, but you know, if you had cut him loose when we were really in the doldrums, no one would have blamed anyone for that, right? And I think that would have been the right decision to make at that time. I think once you commit to him for multiple years and you give him another shot, you're kind of, not to say that you can't fire him, that you're married
You got
to
to back
him.
your guy.
Yeah, I think we all came into this season like, okay, this guy's got a really short leash, right? Because, you kind of got to figure it out now. You had your really terrible year. But I think like Peyton, I think kind of like I started in the beginning, I do think Greg is an achieving coach. Despite his stubbornness, I think he has a lot of flaws. I think what keeps him from being an elite coach is his lows are too low. But when he's good, he's really good. Like the 2024 team, broke a record in the playoffs for goals scored. They broke Greg's other record with TFC. So I'm saying when he gets his machine going, it hums pretty well. Like I don't think any of us have issues with like the team when they're playing well. I think the issue people have with Greg is his consistency or lack of consistency. Right. The fact that his lows are so low. But having said that, I think there's things that you look at in this season. I think that's the point Peyton was making. The game in Seattle, the results against Vancouver and Houston, who are, we're still putting things together. But you can start to see Greg figures some of those things out, and he can cook when he's doing that. So I don't know. Like I don't think we'll be like cup contenders or anything this season, but I think he'll probably have a good season, honestly.
Well, Dylan, you've been super patient, and I want to let you know, sir, that you can now let loose and bring forth the dogs of war. Hey, Greg, man, I know you've been waiting for it.
I called this pigeons before on a podcast. I'm not going to get that head loss crazy again, but I wrote down some of the stats that kind of summarize the Vanney era for me, especially post-championship year, which is we're 12, 14, and 23 since winning a title. That's a 32% win rate. And if you want to put the points per game together, it's a 1.02. And I know that we want to chalk off last season as it was nothing. It wasn't nothing. It was something, and it was pretty awful.
You're lost.
And if I think about it from a 32% standpoint, if I was to tell you that the LA Galaxy won 3 straight games and then lost and drew 7 of their next 7, would you be happy? The answer is no. And I think that from a standard standpoint, the last portion that we're talking about, can you expect standards from your club if we're constantly rewarding mediocrity? And Greg Vanney is a great coach. I will put that out there. He's one of the greatest coaches to ever coach in this league, but I think his time at the club has just run its course. And at some point, that happens for everyone. Look, Pep Guardiola just lost 2 straight Premier Leagues, and he bounced out. And I think that City fans, for the most part, are understanding and accepting of where that comes from, which is, look, you did great stuff. Go ahead.
115.
Maybe there's 115 reasons why.
Well, let's
115 reasons why.
Let's set that aside.
Yeah, let's
you were cooking. Go ahead.
The idea behind it is everyone was okay with him leaving, not because he was winning trophies, but because they had stopped winning trophies. And from a standard standpoint, I think this team needs a refresh in terms of everything. I will make an argument for a couple of other things needing to change too, but we sit here and I think Anada said it earlier, which was we're in the middle of a rebuild. Well, how can I say we're in the middle of a rebuild when we've kept the main philosophies and we've kept 2 or 3 of the same things that are currently plaguing this team in terms of success, which are our DPs?
Yeah. All very, very valid points. And again, we always talk about how you can't argue with the data. You can't argue with facts. And
they are like bikinis, though. I will say that. I will say that they are like bikinis. They paint the picture the way you want to see them. I worked in stats for a long time, and it's not. I know how to fluff them up when I want to, and I know how to downplay them when I want to.
Sure,
it's all about
sure, but 32% is damning. It is, right? Like, if any one of us went to our job tomorrow and told our boss, hey, we're only going to be successful or we're only going to do well on 1/3 of the time we're here, we wouldn't have jobs. I mean, it's I mean, I know it's apples to oranges, it's, coaching a $1 million soccer team versus, whatever we all do, on the day jobs. But the fact remains, there's got to be, again, those standards, right? Dave, you were also like, nah. What are you thinking on this?
Yeah, everybody with all the points, and I don't have any of the receipts or the stats or any of that to back it up. I can tell you that yes, a bikini does sound great on paper, but if I showed up wearing a bikini, it's not working for people, right? And I think such is the case with Greg Vanney. Like, I think he has shown us who he is as a coach and what his limitations are and what his peak is. And we kind of talked about earlier how, like, maybe this team has found its success in spite of other things. And I really do think that 2024 season was in spite of having a mediocre coach. I think Greg Vanney as an MLS coach is fine. But we're the Galaxy. We shouldn't accept fine. We shouldn't accept fine. We've had too many down seasons than we have had successful seasons, and being in the meh it's just not good enough. And so, like, yeah, Vanney's time is up. I think his time was up last year when we've had the statistically one of the worst seasons in Galaxy history, in MLS history. I think the Vanney experiment has run its course. It's time to move on. Wilfred Nancy is sitting there right there, unemployed. He's right there. Take a chance. Take a chance on that dude. That's always the question mark, is like, okay, you're gonna fire the coach. Who's next? Wilfred Nancy. Right. He's the guy. Bring him in, see what he can do. That being said, we thought the same exact thing of Guillermo Barros Schelotto, and that did not end well. So
if it is Nancy, I'm gonna have to brush up on my French, Papa.
Well,
and we're gonna have to sign 5 more center backs.
Yeah, exactly. We have a lot of center backs right now.
Pochettino settings.
We have so many center backs.
Pochettino settings.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about potentially talk about some center backs. Here's the part of the show where we just hit the team pretty hard. We just nagged on them pretty hard. So let's go ahead and be positive here for a moment. Let's look at our defending the badge winner for the mid-season so far. Let's go ahead and start with Primo Matthew, defending the badge winner. Who do you have?
Oh man, this is an interesting one. I mean, there's a couple players that jump out right away. I think, like if you look at like Royce, obviously Royce has been great. Like Royce has been kind of carrying the team on his back. But I'm actually going to give it to Sanabria.
Okay.
Just because I think his emergence, it almost kind of caught everyone by surprise. Like he like puts together. I think it was the one game he didn't start, and everyone was like, "Where's Sanabria? That dude's awesome." And that's never happened, right? Normally, no one's looking for that dude. But so to kind of quietly realize, like, wow, this dude's kind of balling for us, because we've been waiting for that, right? We lost Delgado, and we've kind of been. And then obviously losing Puig in the midfield. We've had some big hits to the midfield, and we've never quite come back for that. And Sanabria never really got the chance to live up to the hype last season. So I'm happy to see him, emerge. So, like, I'll give it to him.
Sanabria. Anyone else have Sanabria?
That's a good shout.
Does anyone have a midfield partner for Sanabria? All right. Peyton, who do you have?
I have Galesnes. I think that ever since he stepped into this team, he's just been a rock in the back line. Like I said, yeah, don't have enough praise for that guy. He's just MLS Defender of the Year. Like, he's one of those guys where, yeah, you spent like what? How much money in allocation money? Almost $2 million if you're including his salary. Over $2 million if you're including the salary plus how much you traded to Philly. And you're not even thinking about that. Nobody even thinks about how much we paid for him because he's just lived up to it and more. He was defender of the year, top 2 last year. And he's playing lights out. He's playing out of it. And you know what? He's playing at an MLS All-Star level. If he was healthy all season, I think that he could have probably been in All-Star contention. He's just absolutely fantastic on the back line for me. And it hasn't even been a transition. I know in preseason we talked about, but Philly, he didn't really play that possession ball. He's a great player, but can he adjust to, Vanney ball? It's been seamless. The Galaxy are obviously much, much better with him on the field. And I think his partnership with Justin Hack is only growing. So Glesnes, I'm hoping Father Time doesn't catch up to him anytime soon.
We got one for Glesnes. We got one for Sanabria. Does anyone else have El Señor Glesnes? No one. All right.
Good shot, though.
Dylan, who you got?
So I'm going to give a special shout out to somebody who hasn't been talked about in a long time because he got hurt.
Thanks, bro.
It is you.
Yeah.
How many?
Man. I knew.
This podcast is what keeps me going on a week-to-week basis. So trust me, if it was just me and my thoughts, you guys know where I'd be. Not in a good spot.
Oh man, if it was just like the old days, me and Ananda would just be sitting in a bar talking about the Galaxy over a beer.
Hey, that's what I do in my house for the most part. It's not like I said,
just railing against Vanney at the door, like
yeah. In front of my mirror, I'm just like, it's like the Green Goblin mask. It's really bad. I've given myself a reputation. That's not good. It's not good.
No, but you know what? It's not like you don't defend it. It's not like you're like, hey, Vanney X, Y, and Z, and then it's not like you're not defending it well. So it's like, hey, if that's your reputation, at least you have a reputation of being able to back up what you're saying. So.
Thanks. I die on my sword just as much as he does. It's
fair.
We are tied together somewhere in the multiverse, me and Vanney. Anyways, my special shout out was Julian Aude. I think he was the one player going into the season that had to make the biggest adjustment tactically. I understood him as a left wing back more than a left back. And this season he took up a left center back role for a large majority of it. And the thing that really got me was his duel numbers. In a lot of games this season, he was one active in duels, but really good in them. I think he won it like a 66% rate. And for Julian Aude, who I don't see as much of a defender, to totally change his MO to be a defender to better fit this team is something that I don't see a lot of players do. And I think that we became a worse defensive team the minute him and Glesnes went out. For me, it was less about just Glesnes, but also Aude going out with him, because Aude was really starting to pick up steam, especially from a ball progressing standpoint at that left center back spot, which we've missed out on. Just strictly haven't had that since he went out. But Marco Reus, I didn't want to put him in the Sanabria thing because he's also played the false nine. But we've asked a 36-year-old to be our best player, and he said, okay.
Yeah.
And he also, all throughout last season, didn't say a single word and just ate all the crap that came to him. Stepped in this season. I think he's been our most scrutinized player for whatever reason. And he's still been, I think it's 4 goals and 5 assists in the league. And if I look at Peck's play, it's strictly down to Marco Reus being just brilliant on the year.
Right. All those nice passes, man.
Mm-hmm. It's a good summary of this season too. Like, I think we talked about it earlier. Maybe it was on our podcast, but if Marco Reus is your best player, then how good can you realistically be? Well, we're mid-table. I don't know where we would be without him.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, 9 goal contributions is not insignificant. So we have Marco, we have Sanabria, we have sorry, Peyton, who did you say?
Glesnes.
We have Sanabria, Glesnes, and Marco. Big Dave, what you got? Who do you have?
I can't believe it's gotten all the way down to me and nobody has said this player yet. I have to maybe get the fine print. Maybe I missed the note. Are we not allowed to pick goalkeepers for defenders because they're defending? Absolutely. It's JT. It's Marcinkowski. He's been lights out. He's had a good run of form, like I said earlier. And here's the thing: my co-hosts are gonna give me so much crap because they were like, "Oh, Marcinkowski's the best thing that's happened." I was like, "Wait, slow down," because I believe this to be true. I think he's had a great run of form. I don't think he's gonna reach the like Jaime Pinedo, oh gosh, who was the other guy?
Big Cat, Donovan.
Big Cat, yeah. Donovan Ricketts.
David
He
Bingham.
hasn't reached that level. He's not going to reach the Gato level, but you know what I mean? Like, he's been very good for us since he won that starting spot. And if we're talking about defending the badge, he's the one defending the badge. And like, honestly, maybe this is a hot take, unpopular opinion. I really don't think that highly of Glesnes. Like, I really think that he's made some big flubs, and I don't see it. I think he's been a little bit of a disappointment for me. So sorry.
Okay.
Couldn't help it. Couldn't help it.
Everyone's entitled to their
Beauty is
opinion.
in the eye of the beholder.
That is a
Couldn't
hot
help
take.
it. But
That is
like,
a hot take.
seriously, JT has been very, very good. And I think if he can keep that consistency throughout the rest of the season, like, I will give him his due respect. But I will for today. He's been defending this badge for this first half of the season.
I gotta agree with you, Dave. I'm giving it to JT as well. Ananda, who do you got?
I'm in between actually your guys' pick, JT, and this other guy. And Rob, maybe I'm gonna be biased on this one a little bit, and it's because, you know, I'm gonna put my fan hat on, as well as our, you know, podcast reporter, whatever you want to call ourselves, but basically having that access to these players. And it's kind of nice because it shows a different side of these players and who they are as human beings and people and competitors. And I'm going to mention a guy who we haven't seen lately because he's been injured. But when I think about defending the badge, and like the fans, like, you know, Rob, you always say it's like suda por la camiseta, right?
Yeah.
Like, who as fans do we want to wear that shirt, blood, sweat, and tears? And honestly, man, from day one, from that, there's two press conferences that shook me this year. One is Marco Royce, and the other is Joao Klaus. That's my defending the badge.
Yeah.
Ever since the first day, I remember the one of the press conferences that shook me. He said, I think the question was, you know, how is it playing with Peck and Paintsel? What is it that you have to do, or what is your main role on this team? And he said, it's not about me. I need to make my other guys look better. I need to make Gabby and Joseph Cook. And I'm like, holy shit, you are the starting number 9 DP for this team. And you have the humility and the selflessness to say, you know what? It's not about me. It's about making my other guys look good. And the way that he presses, the way that he literally suda por la camiseta, that guy's shirt is drenched after every 90 minutes. That's a guy that I want on my team. I don't care if he's a DP. I don't care if he's a TAM. I don't care what it is. I want that guy, that attitude, that mentality on my team. Scored 5 goals at the beginning, kind of dried up. Look, the Edu Loban thing, I think, took a big toll on him. I think his performance started dipping in a little bit after that, and then unfortunately he got injured in sort of the most unlucky way. But man, like, give me 11 Joao Klauses on my team. I love that competitiveness.
Paintsel fans asking when's he back? I believe 3 games after the break. So I can't remember exactly what that match is, but I do remember it's like 3 matches. So all good shouts, guys. I mean, like I said, you've brought up a lot of good characteristics and reasons why you're defending the badge is what it is. Let's go ahead and, you know, start winding this thing down. Just a couple more questions for you. Galaxy's a work in progress. Everyone knows that. They're not perfect. They're still kind of finding themselves, still finding their identity, still finding who they are. Injuries, inconsistent play, rotation, the tournaments, the travel. They're all just some of the problems this year that the Galaxy have faced. One would expect that in the second half of the season, they won't have to deal with some of those, but problems will still remain. For you guys, what is the biggest concern moving forward? Dylan, let's start with you.
My biggest concern, that we don't become the team that we should become, which started the season as transitional. We should be the best counter boxer in the league. Like, if I was to relate us to any person, I'd want us to become a Floyd Mayweather. I want us to see out the beginning portions of matches, rely on our defense to keep us in it. And then when the opportunity presents itself, hit them with the hard blow. And if you have to, you know, if you have to go 12 rounds and stay on your toes, but just never let a team get close, then I've got concerns that we won't become that. I also have concerns that we aren't going to make any moves and we're going to get stuck in this stagnant place that we're currently at. My concern is just staying stagnant.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a second too, because we did talk about it on the last show, but I will bring up something that Greg said related to that. All right, well, Dylan is concerned that the team isn't going to turn into the team that closes out games, starts games well, closes out games. All could be part of another issue or another concern. Interested to see if somebody mentions it. But let's go with Dave. Biggest concern moving forward.
Other than a Greg Vanney extension, I think just that stubbornness creeping up and really biting us. Not learning the lessons that we should have learned early on in the season, and just kind of letting that seep into the mindset of the players of like, oh, we're getting hard done by, or we're doing all the good things, but it's not clicking, and we have to keep doing them so that they click. That's my biggest concern.
All right. It sounds like mentals, perhaps, if we had to sum it up. Is that kind of what you would classify?
Mentals, maybe maybe team mentality, coach mentality.
Okay,
yeah, let's call it that.
All right, Primo, biggest concern for this Galaxy team moving forward.
Yeah, I'm going to mirror what Dylan and Dave have said so far, which is, there's this thing with Vanney of kind of having these slow starts, right? And it's so you hope that like with this break, we don't feel like we're starting it back at peg one. So I do think there's some good lessons that have been learned, and I think if Vanney was going to go, it would have to be like mid-March. Like I remember. I was kind of made a joke in the chat, Dylan. I was really enjoying those like Vanney out videos, like really at his worst. I was like, any week now, we were locked in, man. And then he started to kind of turn it around. But so I think you're committed to him to some extent, at least,
Yeah.
So you hope he does well. But yeah, I just hope we don't have, I hope we don't kind of start back at peg one again. That's my big thing. Hopefully we could take some of the things that are working well, that we're doing well now, and keep it going, and like flopping against like LAFC kind of out of the gate, I think would be a big challenge, right? So I just hope we maintain that momentum.
Maintaining that momentum is biggest concern for Primo. 3 against 4 says, my concern is that getting healthy causes Vanney to try to play Vanney ball again instead of sticking to the transition-based style that has been getting us points. 3 against 4, legitimate. I mean, we talked about it on the last show. Whether Houston was going to be able to sucker the team into playing that possession-based style. Mind you, I think this is the first time seeing y'all up in the chat. 3 against 4. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. I think we just have Peyton for biggest concern.
I guess I'll take mine in a different direction then. And this isn't even necessarily something that we can control. It's injuries. We talked about it. The fact that Marco Reus has played pretty much every game thus far. How rare is that for Marco Reus at his age? Joao Klaus, the fact that he was placed on injured reserve for after the World Cup break. He's going to miss at least the first 3 matches after the World Cup. That's a little concerning to me because I don't understand the mechanism. I don't understand the mechanisms that go into that. I think that if I thought that he would be back after the World Cup break, I thought that would just be a clear cut. We're going to give him the World Cup break and he'll be fine after. It seems like nobody really knows how long Joao Klaus is going to be out for. And it's guaranteed to be after the World Cup break. So how serious is this injury? And when he does come back, how, he kind of hit a dry spell before, as you mentioned, the Lowen thing didn't help. Obviously just absolute tragedy. And, will Joao Klaus pick up form with how many games left in the season? He was playing lights out the first, 5-10 games, but I'm a bit concerned for his health. I think Paintsil's hamstrings over and over again have proven to be an issue. You saw Gillespie pick up an injury early in this season. And I think that back line is very fragile. I don't think you want to find yourself in a position right now where you're relying on Amiro Garces to start every single game, because I think he's been a bit, it's not even a quality issue with him. It's just sometimes he makes a stupid mistake. He is a quality center back, in my opinion. Like a lot of people give him a lot of flack. I think that he is quality. I just think that his decision-making is erratic sometimes, and that's not a guy you could rely on every game. Injuries have hampered the Galaxy thus far. I worry that some of these key pieces like Royce aren't going to be able to put a healthy season together. So we'll have to see on that. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully these 2 months get this team healthy. I did check the official press release from the Galaxy, and they do state that Joao Klaus will miss the Galaxy's next 6 matches and will be re-eligible for the match against FC Dallas on August 1st at the Digs. So that would mean, all the way from that game against FC Dallas to again against FC Dallas, so what a beginning and an end. So yeah, it's going to be about what 4 months.
Just a question on that. Is that like the beginning of when he can come back, or like is that when he will be coming back? Because my thing on that is, if there's like an IR type of thing like there is in football where you're out like 4 weeks, some players still don't return for directly 4 games after. Like I feel like there is a chance that Klaus is still out afterwards.
Sure,
could be.
Yeah, it definitely reads like that. It reads like he'll be available for selection.
Okay.
For the match, because he says we will be re-eligible. He will be re-eligible for the match against FC Dallas on August 1st. Doesn't mean he'll get picked.
Yeah.
I mean,
depends on his recovery. We don't know.
Yeah, it depends on his recovery. So yeah, who knows, right? So I just wanted to go ahead and clarify though on Klaus. All right, guys, we talked about it. Let's start right. Like I said, let's start wrapping this up. This is the second to last question here for you guys. I kind of alluded to it already. Greg let us know in the last press conference, because he was directly asked if the Galaxy are looking at transfers, and he said that there aren't a lot of resources for the team, and this is verbatim. But basically, there aren't a lot of resources for the team. That if somebody comes in, it would be basically somebody going out, right? So if the unthinkable should happen, and no new signings were made because there are just no resources. I know everybody's like, well, this team might look differently after the World Cup. I've said it a bunch of times too. But if nothing changes and this team that we know today comes back into the second half of the season, what is the ceiling of this team? Are they still a playoff team? Peyton, yes or no?
Yeah, I would say the ceiling is probably 6th place as it is.
Gotcha. Anyone, Matt?
Yeah, I agree. Somewhere around there, lower end of the playoffs. But I think you've got 3 DPs. I think if you need some of the other guys to kind of the TAM level guys to kind of stand up. But I think we've kind of known this is probably going to be the team. We knew coming in, we didn't have any GAM and any of that stuff. I don't understand any of the roster mechanisms. I learned that from you guys' podcast, but
Oh,
but,
no!
Yeah, that was my understanding. It's probably not going to be a ton of.
Oh
Sorry.
no!
Yeah, I know, right?
So Joe 13 Cool brings something up, which also is another backing up what Vanney said. He says, I mean, Nasi is gone, so we got at least a U22, which should be a strong transfer.
Rob, someone asked that question at the presser. I don't know who it was.
It was big Pate. And so
yeah, shout out to you, man.
Dave, you did mention that there was that clause in Nasi's contract. We've tried to verify that a couple of different times. I'm not sure if that actually exists, but based on what Greg says, it seems highly unlikely that Nascimento will be back.
Yeah,
he basically said he's been inconsistent and he hasn't been available, and not only that, but like when he has been available, like even the play has been inconsistent, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, but like let's imagine a world where nothing changes, and they go, well, we haven't been able to pull any other deal, so we're buying Nascimento or wherever he's staying. They negotiate another loan deal, right? So, we have two people saying yes, they will make the playoffs. Now we have, I guess our we have our optimists and Peyton and Matt, and then I guess our pessimists and Dylan and Dave. So for lack of a better term, but if no new signings are made, Dave, does this team make the playoffs?
It's hard to say. I think it depends on what the other teams around them do. I think if we have teams that don't really make a hard push, like that could see the Galaxy end up in a favorable spot. I think that we sort of missed out on our one chance to really capitalize on having a big sell in the summertime, and that's Paintil not making the World Cup. Because if Paintil made the World Cup, maybe he, puts himself in there, and get some buzz, and the Galaxy are able to splash some cash elsewhere where they might need it. If Nascimento ends up leaving, or the loan deal is terminated before the end of the year, then we're solely reliant on João Klaus and returning from injury and then finding form. It's tough to say, man. Like I doesn't look good, right? To make the playoffs for this Galaxy team. Yeah, I gotta stick with my pessimistic view, right?
Well, right back to your brother in arms, Big D. Let us know what's good on this. The unthinkable happens. No new signings are made, and everything is basically unchanged for El Tráfico on the first game of the season for the second half. Do they make the playoffs or not?
I will say we'll make the play-in. I get really concerned. That is a lot of fire that you are playing with. I mean, just directly behind us. Look, we're only 6 points clear of 14th. It's not like we're really above, like so far above the bottom of the pack here that I should be considering us safe with this roster. Look, you guys just said it. Klaus is going to miss the first 3 games of this upcoming road trip. So there's not road trip, but after the World Cup break. Look, I mean, the team directly behind us, right? San Diego has had this Chucky Lozano situation over their head for all of the first portion of the season. They had the same amount of games and did the whole CCC thing, same as us. Played Toluca, got the wheels beaten off of them in Toluca, and they sit 3 points behind them with a potential open DP spot. Like if they get Mohamed Salah, right? That's been the guy that's been rumored there forever. Kevin De Bruyne, right? You're playing with the level of fire that I don't want to be anywhere near. If we don't make any moves, it makes me super concerned. Super concerned. I think we will be a play-in team just because the rest of the pack, I mean, are we better than Seattle today? No. Are we better than LAFC today? No. Dallas, no. RSL, no. SJ, no. And Vancouver, no. You're already 6 teams there. So you just need 2 other teams to put you in a spot where we're battling for playoffs. And that's not where I wanted to be this season.
Yeah, definitely not. All right. Now let's flip it and let's end it with this. And before we go, when you answer, please let us know where we can find you, where we can go ahead and find your work, find your podcast. Please go ahead and definitely go ahead and plug yourself, plug what you're doing, because everybody on here works really hard at what they're doing. So go ahead and shout yourself out. So the question is, where did the Galaxy get eliminated? We've already kind of answered that question. A couple of you, Dave, you're kind of on the fence about the playoffs, right? Well, everybody else is saying they're going to make the playoffs, all right? So everybody else, where are they going to get eliminated? And Dave, for you, if they do make the playoffs, where could you see them getting eliminated, or what would it take for you to believe that they could make the playoffs? Let's do that. So, Peyton, where do they get eliminated in the playoffs?
We won't. We're bringing home the 7th MLS Cup.
Holy God!
No, I'm just kidding. We'll get first rounded. I think that we'll face probably a second seed team. Whoever that might be, it might end up being Vancouver, or somewhere along the lines of that. We're just gonna get bounced by a better team first round. It's as simple as that. If not, then I think I think even if we get in playing, we'll probably win that first round playing game and then get bounced by the first seed. So that's as high as the ceiling goes. I don't think an upset's in the cards, especially not in a best of 3 game series. I don't think we're going to be able to outclass a team that's just better than us. I don't think it's going to happen over 3 games. So,
all right.
Oh, and then you can find me
first round exit.
Yeah. You could find me at Peyton_shot_it on Instagram. I do photography. And also I join these guys in press conferences now, apparently. So hopefully I'll be there for El Draft Show.
Shout out, man.
Shout out to Big Peyton. You guys heard where you can find him. First round exit. Also, he has a little shot behind the 7-Eleven over there by the digs. So holler at him over there. He's again just best product on the market. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and hit up El Primo Matthew. What you got for us? Where do the Galaxy get bounced?
Yeah, I hate to keep ripping off Peyton, but no, I had almost the same exact thought. I feel like we'll be in the play-in. We might get something off of that playoff team, but then we're probably going to lose to a higher seed in like the first or second round. That's literally what I was thinking. And also, while I'm stealing from Peyton, like he totally ruined my night because I wasn't worried about injuries.
We're connected.
Well, the thing is, so with this Joao Klaus situation, it reminds me of the Poo situation, right? Where everyone's like, oh, it's almost like he got a DP slot open. We're going to get this guy back and he's going to score so many goals. And you're already kind of like, people are already talking about like, hey, we're going to catch momentum, and just wait until Klaus comes back. And then, with Pooch, it never happened, right? And I think that had like a psychological effect on the team. And so, yeah, that's something I really am worried about kind of down the stretch is we're going to put all our hopes on getting this guy back and making a run. And if that doesn't happen, I feel like the team could like collapse and just kind of fall apart. But yeah, that's my thought. I'm thinking we might win a playoff match, but yeah, we're definitely getting nicked by an upper seed in any serious round.
All right, first rounder as well. Dave, go ahead and let me know, man. What would it take to get the Galaxy? What would it take to get you to believe that the Galaxy is a playoff team?
Make the playoffs. Then I'm a believer. I got to see it first. Look, I really do think that if the Galaxy gets into that play-in game, they'll get past that round. If they start in that first round a series, I think they get bounced there. If they make the play-in series and they build good momentum, I think they have a shot at like getting to at least the second round. But I don't think we're looking at like Western Conference anything. So yeah, I don't see him going past that second round of playoffs. We'll get there and then we'll just get obliterated. But with the inconsistency of this team, I can totally see them against the odds beating a higher seeded team in that first round and then falling flat right after that. So maybe I'm a little bit more optimistic than everybody else. Everybody else.
I was about to say you gave him the longest life. Second round. All right.
Yeah. Well, Peyton said the 7th cup, so that is what it is. So, but
I think we knew that was tongue in cheek as much as we want it to be true.
Indeed.
I think that's wishful thinking, but no, I mean you're right. I mean that is now you the optimist in the group.
I am. So
unless Dylan brings it back.
If I could plug real quick, if you want to hear more of that optimism, you can find me at DaveArona18 on socials. But more importantly, you can find my podcast at Ellie is Our House on Instagram. We don't do the Twitter anymore. but we are still on podcast. So LA is our house on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We play a MLS prediction game. As far as I know, the only MLS prediction game where we bet on every single team, not real money, but come check it out. Come check out Balls and Beers and the LA is our house podcast. Thanks, guys.
Y'all heard. And honestly, if you guys can think of something to go ahead and plug, go ahead and put it in chat, just like everyone is doing right now. But we'll go ahead and finish off with Dylan. Where are they getting bounced, or are they winning that 7th cup?
No, I like the second round shout. We spent this whole pod being pessimistic, so it's only right that we finish on a high note and be optimistic. We're gonna get it all right. Here's exactly how it's gonna happen. We're gonna go into the summer window. We're the LA Galaxy. We're gonna smarten up. We're gonna make the big calls. We're gonna make the big moves. We're gonna bring in a big name, because everybody that I have talked to, every reporter that has talked to me, has said this is the most important window in MLS history. And the Galaxy not being a player in that seems ludicrous. We are going to be a player. So we make the right moves. We finish somewhere in 6th or 7th. We get a favorable matchup in the first round, which is a best of 3 against a younger team like an RSL or an FC Dallas, a younger squad. We beat them in 3, and then we get pumped probably away in Vancouver or something.
Second round as well. Okay.
Second round as well. Yep,
hey.
That's where we're
All
going.
right, so we have 2 first-round exits and 2 second-round exits. I'm just saying, I mean, 7th heaven, MLS Cup, let's get it. Yay. But being realistic here, I think those are all good shouts. Ananda, as we wrap this up, do you have a prediction on where they get bounced?
Yeah, I agree with Dylan. I can't see the Galaxy not being a player in the summer transfer window. That's probably first and foremost. And then after that, it just depends. Like, it just depends how the team performs. And I don't want to go through all the different things we talked about in terms of consistency, mentality. I don't know if anyone brought this up too, but I know you brought it up before, Dylan, which is like end of halves, end of games, game management. That's a huge one. This team learning how to win and get 1 or 3 points from losing positions. So if all those things come together, yeah, I could see them winning in the first round, going in the second round. And who knows, they might surprise us. Like, I don't think at this point in 2024, I don't think any of us thought that they were going to make an MLS Cup run. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'm not saying this is the 2024 team, but I'm just saying I've seen crazier things happen before.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see. But it's all going to depend on that summer. It's a huge summer for this team.
It is a huge summer, and speaking of huge summers, it's a reminder for y'all that due to that huge summer, on Thursday, on Monday, we're going to be switching it over to Cuna Mundialista. Thank you, Joe 13 Cool. We're going to go ahead and open it up with, a World Cup preview through Los Angeles Eyes kind of thing, so hopefully you guys are here with us. And like I said, we're working on getting a wonderful guest for you guys. So watch out for that. Like I mentioned, there's going to be a daily Minuto Monday live stream reactions to every Ecuador, Spain, and USA game. And of course, we'll have a bunch of different friends of the show on to go ahead and help us out. On Monday, June 1st, like I said, we switch it over to the World Cup show. And then on Thursday, June 4th, we break down our focus teams, which are Ecuador, Spain, and the US. Their groups, key matchups, and also examine their chances of making the next round. So stick with us, guys. I want to say thank you to all our guests. Big Peyton, thank you so much. Optimism, Matthew, Dave, Dylan, Glory Man United, Dylan. And really quick before we get out of here, I want to say thank you to GCam here for the super chat. Muchas gracias, Papa, as usual. Let's get it. And then also super chat from the homie Tom. Want to give a shout out. He says, I just wanted to say, sorry, I'm going to try to read better now. I just wanted to give a shout out and say thanks. Great pod everyone was outstanding. The more, the merrier. Tom, I agree.
Thanks,
it
Tom.
It was a gas having these guys on. I mean, we've had them all on at some point individually, and now it was great to have them all here for a live panel. Hopefully, we get to do something like this one day live,
person,
and you know,
we're
we
working
get
on
to we get to do you know, in person kind of thing. But guys, like I mentioned, stick with us on Monday, June 1st. We will be bringing you a show. It will be all about the World Cup as seen through Los Angeles eyes, everything happening in Los Angeles, everything going down here, the watch parties, which fan bases are going to take over Los Angeles, the games that are happening here, and much, much more. Ananda, I think that's all that stuff to say, yeah?
Other than chat, you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much again, just for all your support, and really for not just us, but for supporting everyone here on the show. Again, we're gonna have after when I do the show notes after, I'll put everyone's show or podcast or whatever it is in the notes, so you guys can support this wonderful Galaxy creator community that we have. I mean, all these guys do amazing work for their respective communities, and I mean, we're all one big Galaxy community, but yeah, just like a huge shout out to all of our guests for you know, spitting game and spitting facts, and for all you guys in chat for you know, for having good conversations with us. I think it should make up for a very interesting second half of the season.
Truth.
But guys, there's another tournament coming up in the next couple of weeks that I'm sure everyone will have fun in as well. So stay tuned.
Yeah, which one?
And thanks again, chat. We love y'all.
Yay. Oh, look at Dave pointing. Dave is pointing. Yeah, man, it's about to go down, guys. The eyes of the world will be on Los Angeles, even more than usual. Quick reminder, look out for that Pippa Magani interview. That one already dropped, and that one is on the channel. So go ahead and look out for that. Subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on Monday for something brand new, and hopefully you guys like it. I think that's pretty much all that's left to say, huh, Nanda?
Just one more thing, Papa. Dale.
G